find the size, so that this could be the dorsal vein here and then the dorsal artery.
And are they always going to be like right there next to each other, so like pretty close?
Yeah, basically the way that it goes is like very much how they draw it in your book, where the dorsal vein's like right in the middle, and then you've got arteries on both sides.
Would you point out, like on the lab practical, the arteries that are inside the corpus cavernosum per se, or probably not?
Probably not, because I mean those aren't consistent. That's not something that you guys would be able to see from cut to cut. I'd be going for like, if you had a cross section in your book, which you do, for the penis, and stuff that's labeled on there, or stuff that's labeled on the gross anatomy, and then types of cells and tissue and stuff like that. So like stuff that's textbook solid that I could point out on a slide. Okay. As usual. So what is this?
That's the prostate.
Yep. How do you know that?
Looks like a fern tree.
Yeah, and what are those leaves?
Glands.
Which are called what?
Prostate glands.
Prostrourethral glands. Okay. Or you can call them, let me see if I can remember the other name for them. You can also call them tubular alveolar glands. Tubular alveolar glands is how your book has them written. So if you guys haven't reviewed prostate, what does the prostate secrete?
Citric acid.
A bunch of stuff which supports sperm and also provides antibiotic, right? The whole thing is gland. Yeah.
And then is there any other things you could see in there?
Well, other than the glands, the pockets, no, not really, other than, basically the different septa.
You can see the prostate urethra.
Well, not in this slide. There's no urethra on this
What
one.
are those areas, like those called septas? Is that what they are?
I think they're septa, yeah, and I think that the prostate has a capsule, too. Yeah. But we don't have capsule on this slide, but you do have septa.
So it's prosteal urethral glands?
Tubular alveolar glands is how your book has them written.
But I can call them prostate urethral glands?
You could call them that too, yeah.
So I'm probably going to
Or you could just say glands of the prostate. That would be fine too.
I had prosthetic glands. Is what I had.
I think that would be fine. I think your book calls them prosthetic glands too. So how many of you guys have looked at embryo slides? Okay, good. You should have. Chick embryo, yep. Is there any other slide that you guys want to see?
All of them.
Yeah, all of them.
The ovaries. Oh, I want you to show us the different primary spermatocytes, secondary spermatocytes.
Okay. You want me to go over the
spermatids.
And the
seminal
embryo
vesicle?
What?
Seeing an embryo if they were domestic.
Yeah, we want to see those chick slides for sure.
It's just the chicks. Big ladies.
That's a seminal vesicle, right?
Yeah, how can you tell the difference between that and an epididymis?
Well, the better question is how can you tell the difference between that and the prostate? Because that looks a lot like the prostate too.
Yeah.
The bigger lumens, right? They're rounder, you said, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't look like leaves. So the seminal vesicles, the vesicles themselves look rounder. Notice they're packed closer together, and they don't look leafy. They don't do like fern frond looking. And then if you go up, of course, if you guys get this slide, I'm going to be going to higher magnification too. So that's a big. And I'll go to higher magnification on the prostate as well, but. This is a seminal vesicle.
Are those seminal vesicle glands? Seminiferous glands?
Yeah, are those secretory pockets?
So you guys should be able to tell the difference between this and the epididymis. Do you guys want to see what the epididymis looks like? How would you tell the difference between this and the epididymis?
There's no stereocilia.
No stereocilia, good. So this is the seminal vesicle. You want to see epididymis? Well, other than the actual glandular epithelium, not really. Just individual seminal vesicles. Okay. There's not a whole lot of sperm on this slide, so I will show you epididymis though as a contrast. So notice epididymis looks a lot rounder, not so much like prostate. The cells are staining pinker, and that's because of the type of secretions and the different acidity in the compartments, right? Notice that you've got the bundles and they're arranged a little bit more regularly, so you got definite groups of tubules.
Definitely see cilia.
You can definitely see cilia on those cells. What type of epithelia is this?
Pseudostratified ciliated columnar.
Yeah.
Epithelium.
So those conformella, is that the sperm?
Yep. That's sperm and seminal fluid. But you can definitely see all those cilia, or stereocilia. If it's been a while since you looked at the epithelia, look at them. For both this and the uterine structure, so the female reproductive system too. So that you can remember it. How about this one?
That's a vast difference. Or the uterine floating tube.
Yeah. That's actually a vas deferens. It's a ductus deferens. How would you know the difference between this and a fallopian tube?
Well, the fallopian tube's going to have much deeper, like, grooves, whereas that's more just round and has more muscle too, right, on the outside as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
You have been
What kind
looking
of
at your
epithelium
slides,
is that?
Ralph.
What kind of epithelium is that? Is that pseudostratified? Or
I think it's still pseudostratified at this point.
So what is the main way that sperm moves in the vas deferens? Is it through peristaltic contractions?
Yeah. Because remember,
Is there cilia in there still?
there is not cilia in here yet. They get shorter and they transition down as you get more out. So actually this cut I think does have a little bit of cilia on it.
So did you say it's the same epithelium as the epidermis? So the staphylococcus ciliated?
It transitions, but I think it's still pseudostratified, but it's whether or not it has cilia.
It doesn't have like a microvilli, it kind of turns into microvilli.
Yeah, it kind of does, because see, you can see kind of that brush border, especially like on the top, like here.
As far as like a sperm slide, you have the acrosomal head, the head.
Yeah, you want to see the sperm slide?
Yeah. Well, there's even sperm on that one right there. Where we just looked at it.
Well, there was, but I've got an actual, I'll show you the actual sperm slide.
Constellation.
So these guys, I'm not going to go up to oil today, but I would go up to oil for the test. And so if you had something that was on the tip down here, what would that be?
The acrosomal head.
The acrosome. What is this?
The head.
The head. What would be in here?
Mitochondria. Spiral.
Which is part of which part of the sperm?
Body.
The neck. Yeah. And then this is what? The tail, which is the flagellum. Yeah. And so there is a sperm. I would know what is on your diagram. I would know the mitochondrial spiral. I would be thinking about the acrosome and what is in the acrosome for both exams.
Which is hyaluronidase and what else?
That's a good question. What else?
Acrosome. Aromatase, isn't it? How do you pronounce it?
It's not aromatase. Aromatase is involved in making testosterone into estrogen.
Acrosome.
Acrosin.
Why did I write acrosome then? That's prostaglandins too, right?
It also has prostaglandins, yeah.
Which are just local hormones.
There are factors that are secreted by the sperm and the egg to help kind of with chemotaxis, to help them find each other. So that's part of what some of that localized signaling is.
And that's also in the episode?
So neck,
No.
is the neck sometimes called the body, or is it?
So there's the body, which is separate from the neck.
Okay.
Yeah. The body could be considered the head without the acrosome on it, I do believe. Let me see how your book labels it.
I may have been using the lap book when I wrote down. I'm using body as well.